What is good, everybody? Hello, hello. We are live, and it is time for a Momentum Monday word. Really, what I love doing is getting on here and pouring in relevant, timely encouragement to help you really start the week on a good note, on an intentional note, on a conscious note, so that you can ride on that momentum throughout the week and keep checking in with that original intention. So, in that same line of thinking, today's word is all about upgrading your expectations. Upgrading your expectations. So I was sitting in my quiet time space this morning and I just kept hearing that. I kept hearing expectation. And so I want to unpack it just a little bit. It's going to be a quick word, but I think that it's a very powerful word if you hear what I am saying. So, sometimes when we feel stuck, it's because we've stopped executing our faith. We've stopped believing God. We've stopped believing for big things. We stopped dreaming. We stopped expecting that things were going to work out for us, that promise was going to come to pass, that door was going to open, that opportunity was going to be granted. We'd be given access to that opportunity, that those connections would come into our life, right? That our business would take off, right? That we would start doing better. We've stayed in this place of just being comfortable, right? Like to some degree, that's a standard that we've set for ourselves. Like it's a minimum standard. Like I won't go below this, but like I'm also not expecting that I can go above this. So I'll just coast at this level. Okay. And a lot of times because that's comfortable, we don't have a need to stretch, but we're also not fulfilled. We're not being challenged. We're not activating our faith. We're not stirring up creativity. So sometimes when we're stuck, it's because we're not activating our faith. We're not challenging our faith. We're not taking a risk, right? And that's usually how faith is spelled. We're not activating that at all, right? We're just moving forward, business as usual. And there is something to be said about faithfulness, but a lot of times we feel stuck. We're not content with just being faithful. Something else is going on there, okay? So that's one thing. So think about that. If you are somebody that identifies with being stuck right now, I will challenge you and say you're not stuck. Okay, secondly, I've seen different quotes online or memes or different things, right? In the world that we live in, we're inundated with information. And some of that says, don't make assumptions, never expect anything, just love people and you'll do just fine. Like something along those lines, right? But to be human is to have expectations, okay? Expectation is also putting our faith to work, okay? It's literally what that is. It's our job to have expectations in a lot of ways. I'm trying to find this post that I made. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at Miss Juliana Page, and I'll put it below as well. But essentially, let me grab it. Your expectation is your faith at work. What are you drawing in? So let me break that down real quick. So we're told, right, to never expect anything. If we don't expect something, then we can't be disappointed. Then we can't get discouraged. Then we can't be let down, right? So it's a safe place to be. Just don't expect anything and you'll be just fine. Something along those lines, right? But if your expectation is your faith at work, what does that say about your faith then, right? Then that's saying similar things like don't live by faith, don't hope for anything, don't dream, right? Don't create anything because why bother, right? It can have that attitude to it. Like there's this like cynicism, an underlying thread of cynicism in it, right? And our faith, right, is an expectation, okay? So an expectation is our faith at work. And this can be for a positive, life-giving unfolding or a negative, destructive unfolding. For example, we could wake up and expect God's mercy. We can wake up and expect favor. We can expect good breaks. We can expect to be in the right place at the right time. We can expect to encounter the right people. We can expect for promotion. We can expect something good is going to happen. We can expect a great parking spot. We can expect to just flow through all the lights and flow through traffic, right? We can expect that the day will have a certain element of synchronicity to it. We can expect these things, right? And we can be on the lookout for them as well. And that gets us excited. That gets us amped up, right? Or we can expect that it's going to be a lousy day, that people are going to be nasty, that traffic is going to suck, right? That we're going to keep having roadblocks, right? We're going to have all these different bad breaks happen, and it's going to be just an awful experience, right? And either of those things, no matter what we're expecting, that's what we're drawing in. We're saying, hey, you know what? I want more of this in my life. Like, I'm open, I'm available to have this in my life, okay? Because essentially, when we're setting an expectation, it's not something that's tangible, right? And faith isn't tangible, okay? So, well, with an expectation, it's similar to an intention, okay? But an intention is something usually that it's almost like a pre-paving. Like, you're intending for this meeting to go this way. You're intending to show up in this way. You're intending to do these things throughout the day, right? So there is like a faith plus works in action with that. All right. So, I'm going to exercise my faith, but I'm also going to act accordingly. They work together, because faith without works is dead, right? Now, an expectation is a mood, right? Or the overall vibe, right? So I'm either, for example, let's say that you are creating something. Let's say that you're writing a book, all right? Now, with writing the book, you could say, oh, no one's going to read it. I'm just going to self-publish. Hope it does well. It's great if I just do it for the one, right? Or you can say, I know that God put this on my heart to write for such a time as this, right? It's going to be a best-selling book. It's going to get into millions of hands. It's going to change millions of lives, right? Like, you can have a different expectancy for it, which will change your process as you approach the book as well, right? If you don't expect that anyone's going to read it, or that anyone's going to care, or that it's going to do well, you don't show up engaged with that well. You don't value the process, right? Like, you resent it, actually. So think about that with whatever your thing is in your life right now, right? Maybe you're expecting that all of these activities that are scheduled for the kids, there's going to be all these different things that make those really difficult and challenging. Maybe, or maybe not, right? What if you expected something different, right? Think about that. So the message today is to upgrade your expectations. Recognize that as a human, you're going to have expectations, and expectation is your faith at work. I'm expecting things to work out for me. I'm expecting God to move. I'm expecting that this is going to go well. I'm expecting that there's going to be much fruit from this situation. I'm expecting that there's going to be breakthrough in this area. Now, what if there's not today? Or what if I did do that and it didn't work out? Still live from that space, right? Because there's a trial and a testing of our faith to prove its value, right? Are we going to do it just for a day, and then because it didn't work for that day, we're going to give it up, right? And think about how we impact and influence people. If we're negative, if we have no faith, if we're hopeless, if we're powerless, if we act like victims, right? What does that look like when we actually encounter people? Do things get better, or do they tend to get worse? Because here's the thing, an expectation is what we're focusing on also, okay? And what we focus on grows more in our life. So not only is an expectation like a magnet drawing things to us, but it's also, we're training our focus. So what do you want to master? Do you want to get really good at being negative? Do you want to get really good at looking for all the reasons why things are not working out for you? Is that what you really want to get good at? Is that what you want to be known for? Another way to say this, if visually, you're somebody that's visual like me and also practical, I studied journalism in my undergrad, and I thought that I was going to go into that industry. Hence why I studied it, right? So I did a lot of work in that industry throughout my experience. Internships all over the place, different jobs, right? However, how I've used that as a metaphor for my life is I don't want to be a person that is just reporting the news. I don't want to be reporting what is and focusing on what is and what still hasn't worked out yet in my life. That is not my portion. That is not my path. That does not require faith at all. I don't want to be a reporter of what is. I'm looking out where I'm going, and that's what I'm focused on. That's what I'm moving towards. That's what I'm closing the gap on. So I'm going to keep focusing on that and keep making movement towards that every day. I'm not going to get caught up in what it looks like, or I'm not going to get caught up on just focusing on what's not working yet, or how this vision doesn't look like that yet. I'm going to keep being faithful and stay fixed and focused on that thing, so I know it's only a matter of time and I'm going to be found ready. Totally different approach. So keep that in mind. Faith doesn't report what is, right? It's speaking the promise. It's calling things that are not as though they are, right? There's a different flow to it, a different expression to it, and it's valuable. Now, will you see a lot of people living that way? If you look for them, you will find them, right? But you have to be willing to upgrade your expectation, okay? So I want to give you a way to do this. And then I also had a great verse that I came across this morning that I want to share with you as well. So what and why? When it comes to an expectation, what is it that you desire? What is it that you want? And why do you want it? So important. A lot of times we say, well, I want that car. Why? Right? Or I want my business to do X, Y, or Z. Why? Or I want my kids to X, Y, or Z. Why? Or I want to be able to travel to this place. Why? Why is where the passion and the fullness of that thing is activated within us. We need to be clear on the why. But typically, what we do is we have some sort of sense of what, and you got to be clear on where that even comes from, right? But we have some sort of sense of what, and then we're focused on the how, and specifically how it's not going to happen or why it's not happening yet. And then that throws us out of alignment. So focus on what and why with whatever you've got in your life that's a desire. Focus on what it is and why you want it. Be specific here. What is it and why do you want it? Now, the how, whenever you find yourself tripping about the how, I call it future tripping, but whenever you find yourself doing that, recognize that that is God's job. Okay? The timing of it, divine timing, that's God's timing. And the how it's going to happen is also God. Because when you're partner with God, there's so many things that you have no idea how they're going to happen. Not a clue, right? And in fact, if it were just up to you in your own strength and your own understanding and your own capacity, there's no way that it would ever happen, okay? So when it comes to the impossible, that's God's specialty. So you've got to release the how over to God. It's delegating, okay? So this is what I'm telling my faith to do. This is me simply believing. I'm going to simply believe because that's what the word tells me to do. So I'm going to partner with what I'm instructed to do. I'm going to come into agreement with belief. I'm done with the unbelief. I'm done with cynicism. I'm done with my low expectations and mediocrity. I'm done with that. I'm done saying I'm stuck when I have authority, when I have power, when I have spiritual faculties to activate and to move forward with, right? I'm done with the lesser things. I'm moving on to the more that's for me. And I'm going to start by simply believing, okay? Oh, ye of little faith, I'm going to simply believe. I'm going to step into it first spiritually, okay? So it's already done in heaven. And for it to happen on earth, I've got to be in agreement with heaven, okay? So I'm going to simply believe to partner and agree with heaven, all right? Now, why? That is going to turn up again your passion, your excitement, and your enthusiasm, right, for that thing. Your joy. It'll give you this positive momentum that will carry you. Super important. Faith is excited. Faith is like, this substance is coming and I better be prepared. So it gets busy about the preparation process. All right. What and why? Upgrading your expectations is what and why. Okay. So I'm calling this a faith setting or a faith alignment. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your current faith setting? 10 being super fly, right? It is so high. I have so much faith in this thing. Like, I just know that I know that I know. Like, it's happening. It's done. It's done. It's on the way, right? Or One, being like, I am, oh ye of so little faith. Like I have this little mustard seed and I'm not doing anything with it, right? It's time to do something with that mustard seed, at least plant it or something, okay? So think about that. Your faith setting and a faith adjustment so that you can have faith alignment. What does that look like? My faith setting is this number based on whatever area. I need to make a faith adjustment by knowing what and why, right? What the desire is, what the promise is, what the principle is, right? What the key is, why that matters to me. Okay, I'm going to make faith adjustment and then I'm going to align with it is so, it is so, it is so, it is done. It is done, right? So I'm going to act accordingly. So if it's done, that means I'm going to show up some kind of way. That means I'm going to do something different. If I don't believe it, I'm going to show up some kind of way. If I don't expect it, I'm going to show up some kind of way. But if I do believe it and I do expect it, I'm going to prepare for it, right? Like if you are a pregnant woman preparing for a baby, you're going to do stuff, right? Like you're going to get things ready. It's the same thing with other areas of our life, right? We're going to get ready for that thing to manifest, okay? So think about it this way. The promise, the desire, whatever that is, it's done, but it's waiting on us. It's done, but it's waiting on us. Hear that. It's done, but it's waiting on us. What do you need to do? Maybe it's simply believing. Maybe it's upgrading your expectations, right? Maybe it's making a faith adjustment. Okay. And then lastly, Micah 6:8 so clearly says what requirements are, what God requires. Sometimes we want to know that, right? What does God require of me? So it says it here. Dun, dun, dun. It's Micah again, 6:8. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justly and to love kindness and mercy and to humble yourself and walk humbly with your God? Right? It's simple. Okay, so we can humble ourselves by recognizing there's some things that we don't know, the how maybe, right? But we can walk in alignment and God who cares for us. We can lean on and embrace his loving kindness and mercy. We can extend that to other people and we can do just by ourselves and by other people as well. So I find that so powerful. Humility is an attitude of the heart and mind that God requires of us. God really cares about our inner life and our character, not just all the things that we're going to acquire, right? And that we're going to do. So never, under any circumstances, view yourself as better than or above other people. According to Proverbs 6:17, a proud person overestimates himself and underestimates others. If we think more highly of ourselves than we ought, having an exaggerated opinion of our own importance, we still see others as beneath us. This can cause us to have a disrespectful attitude and harsh behavior towards other people, even our family and friends. Strive to give God what he truly requires, which is to do what is just, love mercy and kindness, and walk humbly with him. Okay, so when it comes to that, that's what he's asking. Pretty plain. Okay, so this is my encouragement to you today. If you feel stuck, if you've been told not to have expectations, I challenge those thoughts. Are they true? I challenge them. I'm offering a different perspective to you today. Your expectations, because it's literally your faith at work. You're not going to go to work unless you have faith, and you're not going to be expecting things to go well for you. And if you don't have faith, then you're not going to. That works is dead. So you're going to stay exactly where you are, drawing more of the same things. Not fun. And you can change that all today by upgrading your expectations. And so what I'm saying is, what is your current faith setting? Check it out. On a scale of 1 to 10, where's it at? Now, make a faith adjustment. What is the desire? What is the promise? And why do you want it? Okay. And now make a faith alignment. Is it simply believing? Is it taking an action? What is it? Is it a prayer of repentance? What is it? So that you can make that adjustment. All right. Oh my goodness. Powerful. If you put this to practice, I hope that this really blessed you. I know sometimes we take things verbatim from all the experts on the internet, but I encourage you to try it out and see if that's true for you. Might be true for somebody else, but is it true for you? It's so, so important to be somebody that understands the authority that they carry, right? Their purpose, their call, their vision, their destiny, right? And if you're not able to do that, sometimes what's necessary is turning down the noise, turning off the news, getting off social media, get clear, right? One of the best ways to do that is to just seek your creator. See what he says to you. See what he says is true. Get clear, turn down the other noise so that you can upgrade. It's a time of upgrade. It's a time of increase, and you'll miss it if you keep expecting the same. So my encouragement to you today is to upgrade your expectations and watch the new momentum that you can ride. All right, guys, if this message blessed you, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of pop-up words. The best way to know when a new video comes out is to subscribe. It's an interesting word to say fast. Also, this content is inspired content, and it is a blessing to do. And if it is blessing you, then show love to the people that are making content, whether that's here or elsewhere. Show love. Don't just consume, right? But show love to the people that are influencing you and impacting your life. All right. And then also, if you want to connect with me, you can visit julianapage.com. There's a lot of coaching over there, books, courses, so many things. So go check that out. I'll put the details below the video. And until next time, guys, stay blessed.